Hello and welcome to The Voice KE. I'm your host, Faith Shikanga. To our lovely viewers, a big thank you for always tuning in. Now, on to our very first story. Rest in peace. This is a phrase that once bared very deep sympathy, but to Kenyans, it is taking a different tone. Now, the death of Honorable Beatrice Elachi's son was received with mixed reaction. Few of Kenyans did offer very sincere condolences, while most of them insinuated that this was karma. Well, if I can just go through some of the comments, maybe comments like rest in hell, with some photos of the son being, the son smiling in a coffin. This is something that was quite unexpected. So as Kenyans, when did we lose our conscience? Let's check out this video.
But I just want to add that as a country, we need to do some soul searching. We have very angry youth. I don't know what's going on in this country, but we need serious soul searching. When we have lost utu, when we don't feel when somebody has lost a loved one, it doesn't matter what the reason or the justification. And perhaps it is time, I don't know in what format, but we need to talk to each other and stop talking at one another.
Now, this is not the first time we are seeing a leader, a leader receiving very mixed reactions. Of course, the former chairperson of IBC, Wafula Chebukati, did have the same reaction. So maybe one would wonder what led to this. Now, as a country, we've had corrupt leaders before. This is not something new in Kenya. But this one time, we've never been this worse. We've never been this pushed to the wall to the point that we thrive at our leaders' adversities and worst of all, death. So this just goes to show that the wounds that were being created during the demonstrations of the Finance Bill 2024 are still fresh in the minds of Kenyans. This was the time when, our streets were filled with blood of Gen Zs who were, their cry was being received with bullets. Their blood spilled in streets like some kind of dog that was just ran over. So yes, Kenyans are deeply frustrated and our leaders are not making it any easier to us. If anything, the term Kenyans, we are on our own. This is something as Kenyans you might have known by now, because clearly we feel our leaders, if anything, the few leaders we think are supporting Kenyans, we are losing them every single day. So maybe this has made most Kenyans believe that the only way they can vent their anger is maybe when there's an adversity happening to some of the leaders, especially most of them that are considered to support this very bad governance. Now, moving on to Sifuna's reaction. For the longest time, Sifuna is somebody who's, after every speech, everyone always applauds him, and Kenyans always react very positively with his speech. But this one time, I think this narrative is changing. Yes, if you listen to Sifuna's speech, yes, he was condemning whatever happened and said that as leaders, yes, they might have their faults, but when criticizing leaders, Kenyans should try and be human to these leaders. And I quote the very Swahili word he used, tuwe na utu tunapo wakosoa viongozi wetu. And so people are so quick to ask, why tell us I would try and be human when these are the very these are the very leaders that were devoid of humanity when they saw they did not condemn the brutal killing, of course, of police when over 60 youth lost their lives. So this is the point where Kenyans say, no, Sifuna for the longest time has always been a problem, but this one time Kenyans are claiming that they should just be given a chance. This is the only way they can express their anger. So let's listen in to what Sifuna said.
Vile amesema hapa, saa zingine huwa tunajiona kama sisi viongozi, we are in a very lonely bubble. We can make mistakes. We are not perfect people. Sisi sio wakamilifu. Lakini ningeomba tu wakati ambapo mnatukosoa, msisahau utu wenu. Sisi sote ni binadamu.
Now that is all we had in store for you today. I'm your host, Faith Shikanga, and always tune in at The Voice KE for more updates, especially in the political arena.